Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results, superstar spoilers. But first, happy birthday goes to Lanny Poffo, turning 61 years old. Former TNA Knockout Taryn Terrell turned 30. Over the weekend, Alberto Del Rio was wearing what was described as a really cool tights instead of his regular trunks at Saturday or Sunday event in Hartford, Connecticut. December 27th, wrestlers celebrating birthdays. Demolition Axe. Bill Eadie turned 68. Goldberg turned 49. Former Tough Enough winner Andy Levine turned 28. Bart Gunn turned 52. Chyna turned 45. Thea Trinidad turned 25. And Cesaro turned 35. He was born December 27th, 1980. The man once dubbed as Too Swiss by Vince McMahon is recovering from a torn rotator cuff in his left shoulder with an estimated timeline of 4 to 6 months of recovery time. Midian, aka Dennis Knight, turned 47 on Saturday. He was born December 26, 1968. He worked as also Phineas Godwin. Christmas birthdays. Rusev turned born in 1985, was trained by Gangrel and Rikishi. He debuted on the independent scene in 2008 and signed a WWE developmental deal in September 2010. He debuted on the main roster during 2014 Royal Rumble. TNA wrestler Chris Harris turned 42. Also, he was formerly in WWF. Well, he was born December 25, 1973. As his WWE character Braden Walker. Former TNA Knockout Raka Khan also had a birthday. She turned 34 on Friday. Her name is Tranisha Biggers. And she was born December 25th, 1981. Chris Hero, a.k.a. Chris Bradlin, turned 36 years old. He was born December 24th, 1979. He worked as Cassius Ohno in NXT and has been working back on the independent scene since he was released by WWE on November 8, 2013. WWE is also holding a rare Monday live event in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Thus, so many stars weren't at Raw event. They were at Allentown, Pennsylvania at PPL Center with the following advertisement. Matches: Kane versus Bray Wyatt, Dudley Boyz versus Tommy Dreamer versus Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman. And then you got Charlotte versus Paige for the Divas Championship. Other advertiser talent include Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze. It's worth noting that the talent advertised for this show are highly unlikely to appear in person at Raw. And advertised for Raw was John Cena, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, and Dean Ambrose. No dark match was advertised. And you'll see it in the results later on in my video. And here's a video of John Cena playing Pop Trivia on NBC's Today show. Earlier was Al Roker, Natalie Morales, and Dylan Dreyer. Could John Cena defeat the At Today Show team in Pop Trivia SmackDown? And go to the link to see what he did. I haven't even seen it myself. I care less about John Cena anymore. As you'll see in the SmackDown video. It's a spoiler. Just watch the video. And WWE also tweeted, could John Cena defeat Today Show team in Pop Trivia on SmackDown? There was another reunion of the ECW originals this weekend as WWE Joey Styles was backstage at last night's event. And I'll show you the picture right there for you. Joey Styles was backstage at WWE Hartford with at Bubba Ray Dudley and at Testify Devon, along with at the Tommy Dreamer, hashtag ECW for life. And some more. John Cena returning at the live event in Madison Square Garden for his return. Betty Scotland, the wife of the late WWE legend Arnold Scotland, was sitting at ringside for the event in New York City at Madison Square Garden. As she often is when WWE is in town. Betty was greeted by John Cena and embraced by Ric Flair. Puroresu Sport reports that the Pro Wrestling Noah contracts belonging to top stars Takashi Morishima and TMDK's Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste will expire December 31st. Most likely, they will be headed to WWE. Morishima announced his retirement back in April due to his health, but there are rumors that he may be training for a return to competition. Regarding the mighty Don't Kneel MDK, there has been a talk of them going to NXT. It is reported that last summer that the duo impressed WWE officials at a tryout and has been offered contracts. Also reported that they were waiting for visa paperwork to process and medical testing as well to be done. No word on how everything went, but there are rumors of them being signed by WWE. Several superstars and divas likely will not be appearing on Raw from Brooklyn as WWE running duo shows from Allentown, Pennsylvania due to the holiday season. Stars advertised for the live event. I think I already said that, but just in case. Kane, Dolph Ziggler, Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, Braun Strowman, Tyler Breeze, Tommy Dreamer, Dudley's, Paige, and Charlotte. But they might do pre-tape segments, but I doubt it. So they're not appearing to be live. Sasha Banks and Bayley were tweeting over the weekend. As Bayley said, can't stop thinking about wrestling. And before I annoy everyone with how much the year 2015 meant to me and to hashtag NXT, I'll say this first. Bayley says, it's Bayley, WWE, on December 27th, 2015. My favorite wrestler in the whole world is at Sasha Banks, WWE. Then, now, forever, hashtag WWE NXT, hashtag Women's Wrestling. ODB updated her, updates on her goings outside of wrestling. Comments on Twitter at the ODB Bam. My hot sauce tour start January 29th in Irving, Texas at hashtag Zestfest. Come tailgate. And my hashtag Airstream, which has got her own RV. And you can go to the link at zestfest.net. Pro wrestling is a sport. Sports entertainment, technically, that attracts a huge range of personalities, both in ring and in the stands. Anyone who has ever seen Beyond the Mat knows that life after stardom can be tough, even for most famous wrestlers. The performers on this list all went to get relatively normal jobs after their wrestling contracts were up. And here's 15 former wrestlers working regular jobs now. Number 1, Ivan Koloff on Facebook says Koloff is now an ordained minister, but before he was a Russian bear, an allegedly Ukrainian heel who defeated Bruno Sammartino at Madison Square Gardens in 1971. Koloff is actually originally from Ontario, and although he portrayed a communist replete with hammer and sickle icons, he's a staunchly pro-American nationalist. Number 2, Scotty 2 Hotty. Scotty 2 Hotty, real name Scott Garland, kept up with the Hottie theme and became a firefighter after his wrestling career ended. He graduated from Florida's Lake Tech Fire Academy and is also trained as an EMT. He still occasionally wrestles on the independent circuit. Number 3, Berserker. The Berserker was a short-lived character on WWE who dressed like a Viking. His act never really got much attraction. His real name is John Nord, and he now sells cars with his brother in Michigan at East Nord Motors. Number 4, formerly known as Tugboat, Typhoon, or Shockmaster. Tugboat made a heel turn to become Typhoon. He was named Fred Ottman. In real life, after his successful runs in WCW and WWE, Ottman went to become a cleaning company called Gaffin Industrial Services. He has three alliterating kids, Bo, Berkeley, and Bailey, and coaches one of their Little League teams. Number 5, Skinner. Before he was Skinner, Steve Kinner opened the Professional Wrestling School of Hard Knocks, a venerable institution that trained the likes of Mike Awesome, Goldust, and Diamond Dallas Page. WWE acquired the school and incorporated its program into the FCW, later to become NXT, which Kinner still works as a wrestling trainer. Number 6, Mideon. Dennis Knight, who played the extreme wrestler Mideon, now owns his own catering company called Dennis Knight Catering. His wrestling persona may have been satanic, but his food is just downright devilish. Number 7, Damien Demento. Phil Sykes describes himself as an artist who dabbles in wrestling. His interest in art started with making his own cardboard toys as a little kid. After his run as Damien Demento, a bizarre wrestler who looked like a Mad Max villain, he's back to his roots. He had an exhibition called Carnal that was profiled by the New York Times in 2012. Number 8, Duke the Dumpster Droese. Mike Droese played a garbage man in the ring, and after he stopped wrestling, he got a job coaching high school football. He then switched to teaching special education, but was caught selling drugs to an undercover police officer in a sting. Number 9, Sean Stasiak. Stasiak's real name is Sean Stipich. His wrestling career was a difficult one, ping-ponging between characters and stables before being fired for beefing with Davey Boy Smith and Steve Blackman. He never went back to wrestling and now works as a chiropractor for Advanced Comprehensive Medical Team. Number 10, Snitsky. Snitsky had some major matches, facing off against Kane, Undertaker, and John Cena at various points. Not a bad resume. He's gone on to do a lot of B-movie work, co-producing the movie Manhunt and appearing as Silver Guardian in the Power Rangers movie. Number 11, Kurgan, who was played by enormous Robert Maillet, who put his physique and charisma to work in film after he hung up his wrestling tights. His breakout role was the huge mutant in 300, and then he was cast in the first Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movie. His fight scene in Holmes won him an MTV award for Best Fight. Makes sense since he actually gave Robert Downey Jr. a bloody nose during the filming, of course by accident. Number 12, Rico. Rico only wrestled for a brief time, and a lot of that time with the WWE is divided between wrestling and managing. Fans liked him, but he was cut loose in 2004. He entered a law enforcement training program the next year and now works for the Nevada Taxi Cab Authority as a sergeant inspector. Number 13, Kamala. Kamala was played by James Harris, a wrestling talent originally discovered by Jerry the King Lawler. Kamala is now considered a legendary wrestler, but Harris's fiancee were unsound after his main run. He got some bad news in 1992. He was told he had diabetes, but ignored his doctor's advice to use a dialysis machine and wound up having both of his legs amputated as a consequence. He now makes wooden chairs, which he signs Kamala by hand and sells them for $150. Number 14, Gangrel. Vampiric and gross-looking Gangrel is now an adult film producer. He still wrestles on the independent circuit, Territory League, in fact, and has appeared on WWE a handful of times since he left. Finally, number 15, El Matador. Tito Santana is now a Spanish teacher and a basketball coach at Roxbury Township, New Jersey's Eisenhower Middle School. He now teaches aspiring wrestlers at New Jersey's Independent Wrestling Federation and still wrestles over a dozen matches annually. He also previously worked as a PE teacher in New Jersey. Female indie talent of the day. I just started something over the weekend. Penelope Ford. Show a picture so you can follow her on Twitter at the Penelope Ford. And for the 27th, Carlisle. You can Casey Carlisle on the Indie Fed. Follow her on Twitter at Casey Carlisle. K-A-C-E-E Carlisle. C-A-R-L-I-S-L-E. Rapper Fabulous had a custom WWE bed made for his son. I'll show you a picture right behind me. Who is a big WWE fan? He posted the following photo from Christmas. Again, I'll show you the link right there for you. Instagram. Billy Gunn won his first indie title since being fired from the Performance Center earlier this year at Saturday's Maryland Championship Wrestling event in Joppa, Maryland. Gunn defeated Ken Dixon to become the new MCW champion. WWE Studios recently applied the trademark Clearwater Pictures. This is apparently a company set up to produce and distribute faith-based films, programming, mobile apps, and other forms of content. As noted, WWE announced earlier this year that they have acquired the faith-based movie, The Resurrection of Gavin Stone, with Shawn Michaels, and will be releasing it in July 2016. Also, WWE Studios recently applied for the trademark of Gorgeous George. Noted back in October that WWE's movie on the wrestling legend was finally moving forward as Josh Gad and Ryan Dixon were hired to write the script for the biopic that will look at the life and career of the Gorgeous One, who helped bring sports into the TV age. Santina Marella is being brought back for Raw, according to PW Insider. I know there was a feeling by some at last week's Slammy Awards that it's possible Santina will start appearing more often for WWE. As noted, also confirmed for Raw is Vincent Kennedy McMahon, Ric Flair, and John Cena versus U.S. Champion Alberto Del Rio and Cena's return. Pre-show, Scott Stanford, Corey Graves, and David Otunga hosted the pre-show from the WWE Network Studios in Stamford, Connecticut. They made fun of Stanford incorrectly tweeting that Odell Beckham Jr. would play for the New York Giants. The Rock's announcement that he will electrify at WrestleMania was covered. John Cena's return to Raw in a match against Alberto Del Rio was hyped, along with Vince McMahon's appearance on the final Raw of 2015. Video package recapping the Roman Reigns and Stephanie McMahon drama, along with Dean Ambrose and Sheamus from last week. Sheamus, Rusev, and Wade Barrett versus Dean Ambrose and the USA Brothers was announced for Raw. Neville versus Kevin Owens was announced for Raw. Graves addressed the death of Lemmy Kilmister of the band Motorhead. Yes, he's the one that did the Triple H theme song. He said he got to meet him and spent 2 hours talking music with him. He spoke very highly of the experience. Stanford then closed the show. Superstar spoilers. As Darren Young defeated Adam Rose with boring chants. Mark Henry and Jack Swagger defeated the Ascension. This week's Raw kicked off with Michael Cole, JBL, and Byron Saxton welcoming us inside the sold-out Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Followed by Vince McMahon's theme music hitting to a lively reaction from the Brooklyn fans. McMahon then talks about having dental surgery, alluding to injuries related to the Superman punch that Roman Reigns blasted him 2 weeks ago. McMahon, in over-the-top Mr. McMahon fashion, then demanded Roman Reigns to get out here right now. Reigns' music hit to a surprisingly enthusiastically positive reaction from the New York fans. Well, Mr. McMahon actually said it like three or four times to get him out there. Then he finally made his way through the crowd. We see highlights of what was happening and going on with him lately, as well as a clip of Stephanie McMahon slapping the piss out of him, Tom Phillips, at the end of Raw last week. Vince said he couldn't find the heart to congratulate Reigns on winning the championship, especially given what he did to Triple H. Vince said Hunter would extract revenge on one of these days, and Reigns probably wouldn't see it coming. The crowd chanted, "We can't hear you," Reigns told Vince. "You better speak up, old man." Vince mocked the idea that they could hear Reigns and not him, and then said, "Oh, I forgot. We're in Brooklyn." Vince recalled Reigns turning his back on Stephanie McMahon last week and said nobody does that to a McMahon. Vince said he had to have dental surgery after Reigns punched him. Vince said that the ring is his and he even owns the WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt. Vince said sooner or later Reigns will come to the realization that he owns Reigns himself. Reigns said that's the problem with rich snobs like him. "I'm not a rich snob. I'm a billionaire." Vince said, while adding, "There's a big difference." Funny. Reigns said he and his supporters own the title belt, not Vince, who then asked the fans if they think they own it. A yes chant broke out, Daniel Bryan style. Vince questioned how long Reigns thinks he'll be champion. Fans chanted Daniel Bryan, and then Vince told them to shut up. A CM Punk chant broke out, but Vince ignored it and brought up the Wild Samoans. "You're just one generation away from a bone in your nose," Vince said. He always boasted that he ran Alpha into the ground and made money off of him until there was nothing left. Vince then said he used up Reigns' dad, Sika, and boasted that he paid him peanuts. Reigns shoved Vince to the mat. "My neck," Vince said reportedly. "Somebody help me, damn it, my neck." Stephanie's music played, and out she come, call for help. Policeman walked out behind Stephanie, who she told them to arrest Reigns for putting his hands on Vince. She called Reigns a Neanderthal and told the cops to arrest Reigns. "No," one of the cops replied before, saying they were there to do security only. Stephanie kept trying and then started mouthing off until the cop threatened her to send her to jail if she didn't take a step back. "I'm better," Vince said. The cop told Vince that Stephanie needs to stay calm or she would go to jail. Vince told the cop that he knows who he is. Vince started jawing and told the cop not to threaten his daughter. "You're pissing me off right now," Vince said. Vince grabbed the cop by his jacket. Officers in uniform entered the ring. Vince said he didn't mean to do that. The main cop told the officers to take Vince away. "Well, you put your hands on a police officer." "Well, didn't he just say security?" Backstage segment with Mr. McMahon taken away in cuffs during the break, and he's off to jail. Vince was handcuffed and was read his rights while Reigns held the mic in front of the main cop. They didn't read him his full rights, so it wasn't a full legal arrest. They were going to play it like that. Stephanie pleaded with the cops to stop. Reigns was all smiles. A hero video package aired with Roman Reigns, John Cena, Randy Orton, Alicia Fox, and the Bellas. Among those featured, a video recapping of the opening segment aired. For those who watched the football pregame show and then turned over to Raw once the actual game started. New footage aired of Vince being placed in the back of a squad car and driven away during the commercial break while Stephanie threw a fit and yelled, "Dad!" one too many times. The broadcast team then addressed Vince's arrest. First matchup, Kevin Owens versus Neville. Fans chanted Kevin Owens as he stood in the ring. He did not get a televised entrance, but they did air Neville's full entrance. Unfortunately, Neville is still carrying around his stupid Slammy Award. Owens went for his finisher, but Neville countered into a pin for the surprisingly quick win. After the match, Kevin Owens snapped. Dean Ambrose makes a save. Owens flipped out after the match. And threw Neville into the barricade at ringside. Owens also drove a split-legged Neville into a ring post and continued to throw punches at him until several referees talked him off as they go to commercial. Owens' attack continued after the break. The referees were helping Neville by the ramp when Owens comes up and clotheslines him, and he does a full 360-degree flip, turning him inside out. Owens was setting up for a power driver at ringside when Dean Ambrose made a save. Owens ran Ambrose into the ring post, but Ambrose came back with a clothesline of his own. The referees held Ambrose back. Owens ended up leaving through the crowd. Rock's WrestleMania 32 announcement was made. Announcers recapping the angle, then narrated highlights of John Cena guest hosting the Today Show on Monday. Also hyped Cena versus Alberto Del Rio as a Raw main event. Broadcast team then hyped The Rock announcing that he will electrify at WrestleMania 32. Backstage segment with JoJo interviewing Becky Lynch. Footage shown from last week. Live SmackDown of Team Bad pouring eggnog on Becky. And Charlotte getting a win over Brie Bella. Backstage, JoJo was with Becky, noting that Charlotte said she wouldn't be here tonight. Lynch said that she could be at a disadvantage tonight with Team Bad being in Sasha's corner tonight. She talked about moving to New York City at a young age, and she came here to stand out. Sasha Banks with Team Bad, which is basically a 3-on-1 match versus Becky Lynch. Team Bad was out next. Sasha got on the mic and says, "The boss is back in Brooklyn." Banks brings up how Becky Lynch called this the best city ever. She put on a Patriots hat, and how it's clear Lynch has never been to Boston before. Loud boos from the crowd. Naomi insults Brooklyn, calling it overrated, overpopulated, and stank dump. Commercial break. Coleslaw addressed Banks' match with Bayley that was held at NXT TakeOver. Brooklyn had called it one of the highlights of her career. She lost. Lynch caught Banks in a leg hold. Naomi distracted the referee, and Tamina pulled Sasha to the ropes. Short time later, Becky dove onto all three Team Bad members at ringside. Commercial break. After the break, Sasha was in control, and the announcers were issuing a correction about where the Iron Woman match took place. A loud, boring chant broke out as Sasha remained on the offense. Sasha then had Lynch on the ropes, ran at her for a move. Lynch moved, and Sasha dove onto her own teammates at ringside. Didn't get much of a response. Some fans did count along as the referee counted until Sasha returned to the ring. Short time later, more Team Bad distractions led to some jockeying for position in the ring between the women, as it resulted in Lynch applying her disarmer finisher, only to have Sasha counter into a pin for the win while holding the tights. Vince McMahon mugshot from the arrest. Renee Young at police station, outside the police station with photographers and other reporters there. Broadcast team set up comically bad Vince McMahon mugshot outside the police station. Renee Young and other reporters stood by. She said he was being processed for resisting arrest and assault on an officer. She said Stephanie McMahon and attorney Jerry McDevitt, who's Vince's real attorney, were both present. Broadcast team hyped a six-man tag match. New Day made their entrance. Kofi Kingston with Big E and Xavier Woods versus Kalisto with Sakura. Back live as Xavier Woods says hello to New York City. Woods brings up how in this very building they became the World Tag Team Champions. Kofi talks about how the New Day Trombone made its debut. Big E brings up the singing songs last time, and he brings out the pitch pipe. Kofi asks if they want another song. Woods brings up how the WWE Universe didn't vote New Day as the Tag Team of the Year, so no one gets a song. Well, Big E couldn't even get his pitch pipe to work. The bell rang to officially kick off the match. Kalisto worked over the left arm of Kofi early on. Kofi flipped out and worked over Kalisto's left arm, dropping him to the mat. Kalisto with a drop kick on Kofi after a series of counters. Kalisto with a chop, springboards off the corner and tosses Kofi with an arm drag. Kalisto in a headlock takedown on Kofi. Kofi with a big boot that dropped Kalisto. We can hear Woods playing trombone at ringside. Kofi kicked off the top, missing a stomp over Kalisto. Kalisto with a head scissor takedown, springboard corkscrew, crossbody on Kofi. Kalisto drops Kofi face first off the mat, off a Hurricane Rana. Woods distracts the referee during the pinfall. Kalisto knocks Woods off. Big E catches Woods. Kalisto with a Hurricane Rana into the cover and gets the pinfall on Kofi. After the match, the next match is set up. After the match, Xavier Woods and Sakara for cheating. Xavier Woods at Sakara for cheating and how that sets up a bad example for children. Woods takes off his shirt and says payback is a Big E. He said Big E will take on Sin Cara next. Big E starts smiling as we head to a break. Now he's starting to say a bad word. He's starting to say it himself. Then he turns it over to Big E. Different members of the New Day and the Lucha Dragons will be up next as these two teams get back-to-back matches on Raw, something WWE recently did with the New Day and a different tag team. The match was joined in already in progress just as E was slapping Sin Cara on the side of his ass. Sin Cara was pulled off the ramp onto the floor. Big E ran him back in first into the ring. What happened? E asked sarcastically as trainers came out to check on Sin Cara as he threw him into the ring steps, the ring post. Simultaneously, he eventually rode back inside the ring as the announcers said he appeared to suffer a left shoulder injury, which indeed confirmed as it was a shoulder injury. Big E set up Sin Cara and the Tree of Woe and charged at him, but Sin Cara sat up and Big E crashed into the post. Sin Cara took offense and eventually performed a rolling senton off the second rope. Kalisto prevented Woods from interfering, but Kingston took him out. A short time later, Big E performed his finisher and scored the pinfall. After the match was Sin Cara at ringside, visibly favoring his left shoulder. Miz TV Year in Review Spectacular was up next. We're back live with Miz for Miz TV. It's the first annual Year in Review Spectacular. He talks about January 1st, 2015, making his New Year's resolution. When Ryback's music hits, Ryback has a mic in hand. God, you look stupid, says Ryback. He talks about having a big appetite, but even he's had his fill with Miz TV and how the WWE Universe cares about the future. Ryback burps into the mic and says, in 2016, it will be the year of the big guy. Goldust was out next. He wonders if 2016 is the year of the Miz. It's the year the Miz wins a SAG award. Goldust disagrees. Maybe it's the year the Miz wins an Oscar. Or is this the year the Miz wins some Golden Globes? Stardust gets in Miz's face to creep him out. Zack Ryder's in the house and he gets involved. He says Brooklyn is new Zack City. Ryder says 2016 will finally be the year of Zack Ryder. He leads a woo 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 chant. Miz says it's starting to get a little disrespectful out here. He continues with his year in review for 2015. R-Truth was out next. WWE Universe says, what? WWE Universe? What's up? He brings up how every superstar on the roster is up for the Superstar of the Year. Obviously, he's thinking it's still the Slammy Awards. Miz reminds him that the Slammies were last week and that he actually won an award. Truth says, he remembers now adding, my bad. He Slater cuts the Miz off. He takes Truth's mic and has something to say. Baby. One-man band style. Big Show cuts him off. Cuts off Slater. Hits in the ring. Slater says, no one cares what Big Show has to say. And that's all. That's it. It's all about Slater's baby. Or it's all about Slater, baby. Big Show knocked out Slater and then starts clearing house on everyone in the ring. Truth punches himself out as he did the stop, slaps himself and falls down. Then he laughs. Brooklyn crowd starts chanting for Big Show to retire. Big Show disagrees and decides to announce himself as the number one entrant into the Royal Rumble match. This was not scripted as he messed up on his speech. Then he will go on to WrestleMania, win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and shove that up everyone's. If Big Show didn't say anything else, Big Show drops the mic and says they aren't getting him in trouble. Big Show versus Ryback was up next, back for live, and found out that Ryback challenged Big Show to a match during the break. Ryback kicks the Big Show in the corner. Ryback come off the turnbuckle, and Big Show with a big body shot to Ryback on the way down. And obviously, this one seems like it's going to be a count out. Big Show levels Ryback with a shoulder block. Big Show with more body shots to Ryback. Big Show with a huge chop to Ryback in the corner. More body shots in the opposite corner. Ryback with a drop kick that sends Big Show flying back. Ryback then drops the straps. Shoulder straps on both shoulders. And Big Show rolls out of the ring. Referee starts to count. Big Show decided to leave. Stops on the rampway and receives a 10 count. Dean Ambrose and the Usos versus Sheamus, Rusev, and King Barrett. Ring entrances for the six-man tag took place. Uso brothers had to carry their Sammy Awards to the ring, too. Coachman hype Titus O'Neil appearing as a guest on ESPN tomorrow night, as they did a little screen thing. Sheamus cut a promo on his way to the ring about how fans should be ashamed for cheering Vince McMahon's arrest. Lana did not accompany him to the ringside. Oh, and Sheamus dedicated the match to Vince McMahon. Babyface trio jumped out to a fast start. Rusev got the better of Jimmy Uso, who sold a left knee injury after being hip-tossed into a corner of the ring. Rusev worked over the knee, hitting into a commercial break. Later, fans chanted Sheamus is boring as he worked over Jimmy Uso, who then tagged in Ambrose as Sheamus tagged in Rusev. Ambrose dominated and performed his top rope elbow, heading into a commercial break. Rusev slammed Ambrose coming out of the break, but then missed a splash off the second rope. In the end, Barrett distracted the other Uso brother long enough for Sheamus to put his knee up. And when Uso went to the top rope splash, Sheamus followed up with a road kick for the win. After the match, Owens then attacked Ambrose. And then Owens ran through the crowd and attacked Ambrose by running him into the ring steps. Owens took the broadcast team table and ring steps apart. Owens set up a place on the steps next to a table. Then powerbombed Ambrose to it. This was the announcer's table. Renee Young's update on Vince McMahon's arrest from at the jailhouse. Coleslaw hyped Cena versus Del Rio for the main event. A shot of Renee outside the police department was shown. Coleslaw said she would provide an update after the break. As they go to commercial. Back live, footage is shown from earlier in the night when Vince McMahon got arrested. Renee was on the scene outside the police department in Brooklyn as we see Vince McMahon exiting with Stephanie McMahon. They get in the car and take off. John Cena and Alberto Del Rio promo segment before Raw main event. John Cena made his entrance to the usual John Cena Sucks sing along for the Brooklyn crowd. Coleslaw hyped that Cena will co-host today again on Tuesday. Cena received a mixed reaction and said, the sweet sounds of Monday Night Raw. He said he'd like to be having an open challenge, but Alberto Del Rio is the U.S. champion. Cena noted that Del Rio has never defended the title on Raw. Cena sang the praises of his open challenge format. He said the kids liked it, and the adults called them names. They pointed to a fan with an anti-Cena shirt in the crowd. Cena said the fans deserve a championship effort. But Del Rio won't put the title on the line. He called it a disgrace and apologized. Del Rio then made his entrance along with Sheamus, Barrett, and Rusev. Del Rio said Brooklyn doesn't deserve a U.S. title match. Cena called him an idiot. Cena praised the crowd and said Del Rio is worried he'll lose. Del Rio then reminded him he beat him last time. Cena told Del Rio to put the title on the line, or are you just going to be a little punk bitch? Cena asked. Del Rio called him Juan Cena and said he would have a fight because he's a fighter, but not for the title. Cena said he knows what happens next. He said the League of Nations will interfere before the match even starts. Cena called him gutless and spineless and said he's a one-hit wonder who gained the championship and lost his manhood. Cena threw his shirt to the crowd, but the crowd threw it back. Cena said they were in Brooklyn and said it was the home of the notorious B.I.G. and said that they were Jay-Z's house. Del Rio said he's the man who beat Cena for the title and he would send Cena home by himself for good. You want a title match? Del Rio asked. You got it. Commercial break. WWE acknowledges the passing of Motorhead frontman Lemmy Kilmister. And then they do a tribute to him. The ringside broadcast team addressed it and then give him a tribute. They aired still shots played by some of Triple H's song clips. Ran tweets from various people regarding his death. Tony Chimmel handled the in-ring introduction for the title match. Del Rio had an early advantage until he pulled his version of a Ric Flair top rope move, charging an opponent on the ropes, crashing and burning on the floor. Then they went to a break with both men down. Cena got a near fall off of a tornado DDT at 9 minutes 50 seconds in. Both men slow to get to their feet. Cena got up first, went for his finisher, but Del Rio countered into a cross arm breaker. He pulled one of Cena's wristbands and tossed it aside, which got the break from a hold. Cena got up and pulled up Del Rio and slammed him to the mat to break the hold. As it goes past the 10 o'clock hour, Cena applied the STF and Del Rio tapped out. But the referee was down the ringside thanks to the rest of the members of the League of Nations. Enter Sheamus and Rusev. Cena took a boot to the face from Rusev, and then Sheamus woke up the referee as Del Rio recovered Cena, who kicked out at 2 count. Sheamus went for a brogue kick, but Cena avoided it, and Sheamus kicked Rusev. Cena took out Sheamus. Del Rio caught Cena with the same finishing sequence he used at SummerSlam, but Cena kicked out this time. Del Rio went for a cross-arm breaker, but Cena avoided it and hit the Attitude Adjustment. Cena hit Del Rio pinned, but Sheamus and Rusev hit the ring for the disqualification finish. The same one that they had at Cena's return at Madison Square Garden. So they did it for Raw. They must have had much to write. After the match, Vince McMahon returned with an announcement for next week's Raw. Afterwards, Sheamus put Cena down with a brogue kick. Uso brothers ran out and tried to help. They were quickly outnumbered. Reigns ran out and speared Rusev at ringside. Then performed the Superman punch. Reigns glared at Sheamus as he was standing on the opposite ring apron with a chair. Both men entered the ring. Sheamus took a Superman punch. Then Reigns struck him with a chair to the back and cleared him from the ring. Vince McMahon's music hit, played, and he walked to the stage with a microphone. Vince said he was going to sue the city of New York, and he'd sue all the fans if he could as well. Vince recalled questioning of how long Reigns would be champion. He said he now has the answer. Vince announced for next week, Reigns versus Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship match for the first Raw of 2016. Vince named himself as a special referee. Vince then closed the show by saying, Happy New Year, 10 times. One of the police officers, as Raw goes off the air, one of the names of the police officers that arrested Vince McMahon on Raw was WWE prospect Drew Gulak. As seen on Raw, Vince was arrested by police officers after an angle with Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon, and Roman Reigns. The segment ended with Vince assaulting an officer and being arrested. One of the correspondents at Raw in Brooklyn sent word after the show went off the air, John Cena and Roman Reigns had a stare down. No dark match. And a couple of photos were altercation between the two. They just had a stare down in the middle of the ring. After all went off the air in Brooklyn, the second report, John Cena faced off with World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns until Sheamus, Rusev, and Alberto Del Rio interrupted. They attacked the babyfaces, but Reigns and Cena got the upper hand and stood tall to end the show. That concludes my Raw results for this week. Stay tuned for SmackDown coming up. Thanks again. Peace out. See you tomorrow, maybe. See, you wouldn't want to be ya. By the way, if you don't know, just call me bro and sisters.